Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down selling on Amazon as a vendor versus selling as a seller, and which is best for you. As a summary, it comes down to control, the degree of control that you want over your business. Let me expand. So I'm about to cover the following things: differences between selling to Amazon as a vendor versus Seller Central, considerations when choosing between the two models, and then ultimately which model should you pick and how to get started with that model. Cool. So the first step is like, what's the difference? When you're selling to Amazon, you've got two real kind of options on the website. You can sell to Amazon as a vendor. This is where Amazon are buying product from you as a retailer. So they're kind of sending you purchase orders. They're buying the product from you. They retain ownership and control over pricing and inventory, and you're selling to Amazon as a retailer. This can be compared to Seller Central, which is where you're selling your products directly to the consumer through Amazon's marketplace, otherwise known as FBA. So in this model, you retain control over pricing and inventory because you're selling the products directly to the consumer, as opposed to the vendor central, where you're not selling the product to the consumer, you're selling it to Amazon directly, and they're selling it to the consumer. So there's a couple major differences in considerations between the two models. Firstly, is the degree of automation. Amazon is a highly automated system. So Vendor Central, this is where Amazon buying the products from you. The entire system, the entire process is automated. The amount of inventory that they buy from you, the pricing at which they will sell your products, the entire system is automated. There exists processes and algorithms that pretty much determine every step of the process. And that's how it comes to be that Amazon have this like hands off the wheel approach where they aim to do as little intervention as possible. This can be contrasted to the Seller Central route, where you're selling products to the consumer through Amazon, but you retain ownership and control over pricing and inventory, right? So there's far less automation. You have far more manual control over each step. And why this is important is because when you're trying to grow a business, you probably want more control, right? Particularly at the start as you establish your brand. And then the other thing is when it comes to inventory. So again, as a vendor, you're selling your products to Amazon, so they're raising purchase orders and sending you orders for your stock. But the quantities that they order is entirely automated, driven by historic data, right? And so if you're launching a new product, this can be an issue because there's no historic data. So if you're a smaller company, right, you haven't established yourself as a market leader, like Amazon aren't going to buy any products from you if it's a new product and there's no data, right? Why would they? Why would they assume that risk? So if you're launching a new product and you don't have that established market share and brand recognition, then you're very well better off doing so as an FBA seller, right? Because then you get to decide how much inventory you want to sell on Amazon, how much inventory you want to send to their warehouse, right? You have more control. The other point is pricing. So as an FBA seller, you get to choose what price your products are selling at versus Vendor Central, where you have no control. Amazon as a retailer, it is on their discretion at which price point they want to sell your products, and there's nothing you can do about that. So if you're trying to protect your kind of brand, recognition, you don't want to, be a very cheap product, then Vendor Central might not be the route for you. And then, lastly, again, to summarize, it comes down to control. If you want more control over your pricing, over your inventory, you're better off selling to as an FBA seller. Whereas if you want less control, you want more hands at the wheel, passive automation, then Vendor Central might be a bit better for you. Now, which should you pick? So if you're a larger size business, you've already got that brand recognition. You just want to kind of set it and forget it. Amazon order the products from you, and then you fulfill. You don't want to worry about what run rate, how much stock on hand that you need, how many weeks of cover you need to hold in their warehouse. If you don't want to worry about any of that, then a vendor central profile and selling to Amazon as a vendor is probably best for you. Yeah, again, hands off the wheel. It's a bit more passive as a vendor. Whereas if you want more control over the outcome, you're best setting up your fulfillment as a seller. Again, the reason you want to do this is because you have more control over your pricing, over your inventory, and over your general Amazon business, right? And when you're starting a small business on Amazon, you want more control, right? You want to grow the business at the rate that you want, and your business better than Amazon does. So if you're a new business, if you're still kind of setting yourself up as a market leader, then you want to more control, and more control will be given by selling as a seller on Amazon. And then the other kind of consideration here is if you're selling to multiple retailers, you might want to set it up as a vendor. Again, if you're a bigger, more established company, Vendor Central is probably best for you. Cool. So the last step is, how do you actually set this up, and what do you do? If you want to set up an FBA business, you want to be a seller. Seller Central, it's pretty straightforward. You go to their website and you register. There are plenty of videos on how to do that. It's entirely self-initiated, up to you. Now, if you want to set up a vendor account on Vendor Central and supply products to Amazon, sell it to Amazon, it's a bit more nuanced and it takes a bit longer. Essentially, you can't just set up a Vendor Central account. You need an invitation from Amazon to do so. And there's a lot of misconceptions that this is very exclusive or very difficult to obtain, or it's not available to everyone, which is quite frankly just not true. It's much easier to obtain this than you think to set it up. And the way you do this is you really need to reach out to a vendor manager, depending on the marketplace you're located in and the category. You want to find the vendor manager, which you can do through LinkedIn. It's pretty easy. Just Google it, and then once you've made contact with them, you need to get them to send you an invite. And it's important to understand how Amazon think about things. So at the very core of Amazon's strategy is selection, which is offering the greatest possible selection and number of products to the consumers on Amazon, right? So you should be able to leverage that foundational pillar to get them to want to sell your products on Amazon, right? So again, Amazon, they're not limited by shelf space. Essentially, for them, the greater the range of products that they can offer to customers, the better. So you should leverage that, right? You should kind of sell that promise, sell that future, sell that to the vendor manager that you're talking about, and make it within their best interest to extend their selection, their product offering, by including your products as well. So that's kind of what you do. And if you've done your job well, you've made contact with the vendor manager and you've kind of explained that, it should be pretty easy for them to send you an invite through Vendor Central. And then you go ahead and follow the prompts, create your account, start creating your products, and optimizing your listings, and so on. Cool. So I think that covers it. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and I'll be sure to respond to them all.